So, hi everyone. With us today we have the ultra talented and gorgeous Sonal Holland. Sonal Holland is India's first master of wine, which is regarded in the wine industry as one of the highest standards of professional knowledge in the world. Now, I would like to start off by telling you guys why her. What pushed me to bring her on board? Sonal, I will tell you one thing. I was trying to find people to interview, and I came across your story, and that really, it just sent me to so much of curiosity and all. So, for those of you who don't know, Sonal was working as okay, she was doing a high paying, very comfortable job. I think that's an understatement, guys. She was the director of national sales at a Fortune 500 company, and she left that. And she pursued her study of wines. I'm going to give you more idea about the wine industry later, but over to you, Sonal. Why? ऐसा क्यों किया? मतलब कभी ऐसे आया नहीं कि I'm leaving this, God knows what's gonna happen next, what's gonna happen.
So firstly, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be on Penning Down Success platform to speak about my story and hopefully some about wine as well. That's a great question. And I've not been asked this before, technically. But, I always like to say life looks wonderful in hindsight. When I look back and the way you narrate my introduction today, it sounds so inspiring and so wonderful. But back in the day when I did this, I didn't put such a conscious thought behind the fact that, oh, let me do this. And if I do this, this is what will happen. And, you don't sort of plan life as you live it. Yes, I will say that I had some sense of conviction when I made this decision, but nothing was so well thought out or planned. What really happened, to be honest, Daksha, is I used to work in a Fortune 500 NASDAQ listed company. And yes, I was the director of national sales. I was traveling around the world. It was a comfortable job. I was being well paid. I had a team of people reporting into me. But as an industry, it was an industry that did not really make me feel fulfilled or did not make me feel so excited. So I remember saying back then to my husband, God, I'm going to die anonymous. No one's ever going to know who I am. And I know it's all in good humor, but to tell you very honestly, on a more serious note, I didn't feel a larger sense of purpose in that job. And, like they say, money is not everything. You can be in a comfortable position in your life, but if you don't feel a sense of fulfillment, or if you don't feel that the job is really playing to your skill sets or allowing you to showcase your skill set and your talent, and you don't feel a larger sense of purpose and fulfillment, then there's no point. Then it's time for you to start looking at what else you can do with your life. And I was fortunate that I started that process. We went through a number of options of what I could possibly do. I read an article on wines and I became aware of how the wine industry in India was just starting out. And I suddenly was drawn to the fact that this could be a great industry, a formidable industry in years to come. Why don't I become one of those who advocates about wine or writes about wine or communicates about wine or educates about wine? And I sort of did some more digging up, and I learned very quickly that one of the highest qualifications and credentials that you can earn in the world of wines is to become a master of wine, which is the world's most coveted wine title given by the Institute of Masters of Wine based in the UK, London. And the funny thing that I like to tell people is that more people have been into space than have become masters of wine. So that seemed like something seemingly impossible and challenging enough, to get me excited. And I thought, okay, here's something new. I didn't know very much about wine, so I had to embark on a long journey of learning right from the very base up to the master of wine level. So it was what ensued later was a 10-year long journey, which I'm sure you'll ask me more about. But that's how it began. It all sounds wonderful now in hindsight, when seen in hindsight. And at the time also, I just went with a sense of conviction, a gut feel, and a sense of belief, which I think kept me in good stead over the years.
Master of Wine is a course which is considered as one of the toughest courses in the world. So kudos to you, Sonal. It did take you a good 10 years, but like uh, like it did not come to you in the blink of an eye. Even though when it ends, वो पता नहीं चलता है कि 10 साल चला गया, but it did take you a good load of time to be where you are, and you're doing an amazing job. I would also like to introduce about the wine course over here. So for those who don't know, it's a rigorous 3-hour exam followed by a wine tasting, which requires the candidate to blind taste 36 wines over 3 days. How did you do it?
Blind tasting exam is arguably the toughest part of the exam. There are, of course, theoretical exams also, or papers that we take where we write about various topics, and we're expected to know everything about the art of growing grapes, to making wines, to the global business of wine. And we get asked questions where we have to write in a very authoritative essay-like, pieces of articles, basically, more than answers. So that's tough, but definitely what is the toughest part is the blind tasting exam, for which the pass rates are notoriously low. And the only way for me to do it, to be honest, is I had to travel a lot. I had to spend an enormous amount of time away from home, from family. And I used to travel. Basically, there were so many moments in time when, you feel, why am I doing this? No one's put a gun on my head. I'm the only one pursuing this from this country. No one's judging me. I'm facing all these failures. I'm feeling guilty about being a mother and staying away from my child for such extended periods of time. I'm missing out on all the fun. I'm missing my friends' birthdays and even weddings. I missed my daughter's birthdays. So it came with a lot of sacrifices, and there were many moments of self-doubt, and moments when you felt, why am I having to do this? Why don't I just give up? Why don't I take a year off? Why don't I just take it easy for a while? But I don't know, something just kept me going, because I used to always feel that if I take my foot off the pedal, I will probably never want to get back on it again. And at some point then, my idea of wanting to be a master of wine had turned into an obsession. So I just wanted to become India's first master of wine, and it had become an ambition that was driving me.
So being in top 100 most influential women in the Indian luxury, do you think this title makes you feel more responsible, or adds a sense of responsibility to your everyday life, or how you show up on social media, or how you talk to people?
Certainly. I mean, I always say that success is a responsibility, and any milestone that gets achieved, or any little success, big or small, that you achieve in your professional or in your personal journey, should really act as reminders to you to start giving back in ways that are meaningful, that are relevant, that are progressive. See, the wine industry in India is very small still. We are, talk about the spirits industry or the whiskey or the beer industry, we're already quite large. I'm sure many of the viewers already know that India is is the largest whiskey market in the world. But when it comes to wine, we're still very nascent. We're still sort of learning the subject, familiarizing ourselves with the drink. And I feel that, it is somewhere my responsibility too, along with the rest of all my colleagues, to forward the cause and the positive culture of this industry, and to be able to make meaningful contributions that actually help the industry grow, that help all the stakeholders of the industry, whether it's the trade, the consumers, the enthusiasts, the hoteliers, everybody, we're all part of it, and we all grow. The industry grows, we all grow. We can't be bigger than the industry. Wine is the new media symbol for success, celebration, sophistication. Today, you take any Bollywood movie, there is wine being depicted positively, and it's seen as a more socially acceptable, softer, a civilized, sort of a beverage, not just for alcoholism purposes, but a drink that you can enjoy with food, over conversations, to connect with friends, to make meaningful memories. So I like this aspect of it, that to me, this lifestyle aspect of wine fascinates me. I'm a proud Indian. So no matter where I go and what I do, I'd like to believe I'm always a very strong ambassador for India. And I always ensure that India has a place or at wine tables around the world. So I enjoy doing that.
After studying Master of Wine, you started a few ventures of your own.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about them, but I think since you're on the show and our viewers would like to hear from you, so would you want to talk about a few of your ventures?
Sure, thank you for the opportunity. So one of the first things that I did was I started Sonal Holland Wine Academy. We started this in 2009. And the whole idea of starting Sonal Holland Wine Academy was to be able to create an institution that provided world-class wine and beverage education to professionals and enthusiasts. So over the last 10, 11 years that we've existed, we have trained hundreds and thousands of professionals who today work in luxury hotels, restaurants, cruise liners, and the entire service and hospitality industry, and are working either as sommeliers or beverage managers or F&B managers, or anybody dealing with the aspect of sales or service or marketing of wines. So they also work in wine companies and so on and so forth. And Sonal Holland Wine Academy today, I'm proud to say, has really gone from strength to strength. That is one of the India's foremost institutions for education of wine and beverages. In 2020, we had the fabulous opportunity of also launching some of our online courses. So today you can go and take a course in wine in under 60 minutes and get certified. And we call it the 60-minute Wine Pro. So we're very excited. We're sort of moving in the right direction now, also digitally, and that's very exciting. I have another company called Soho Wine Consultants Private Limited, and Soho Wine Consultants is basically in the business of course, curating some fabulous experiences and events for high-end corporate, the enthusiast groups, senior corporate level, consulates, trade. So we find ourselves doing and curating a lot of experiences for people who are either working in the senior corporate world or are like part of a club like the EO or the YPOs, or all of those kind, women's groups, of course. We also specialize in curating events, a larger scale event like a festival kind of a thing. And I do a lot of consultancy work for international companies who are looking to set their footprint in India, but don't have an understanding of how to go about it. So a lot of those consultancy services comes under Soho Wine Consultants. Then we founded India Wine Awards in 2017. We've completed 3 successful editions of India Wine Awards, and I'll tell you very quickly what that is. India Wine Awards is today regarded as India's most authoritative wine competition, which is ranking the best domestic and international wines available in India. I did this because I felt that awareness of wine is so low in India that today for a consumer to know a good wine from a bad wine, knowing that this wine has got an award and that it has been tasted by a panel or a jury of 18, 20 professionals who have given it gold or a silver or a diamond, can be very inspiring, can be very confidence instilling for a consumer. So if he knows he's got this particular wine is an award-winning wine, it kind of induces or empowers his consumer choices. And we felt that something like this was lacking in India at the time when we launched India Wine Awards, because I felt this country is full of food awards. And I said, why not a wine award? So, so we started India Wine Awards, and I feel very proud that my team and we've been able to run 3 very successful editions of India Wine Awards. And then more recently, we launched the retail business. So I felt that ultimately, I wanted to get more closely connected with the consumer. And I thought the best way to do that is to deep dive into the retail business. And a fabulous opportunity came along with the food hall group, where we were able to take on their wine stores, their wine and beer stores. And so I decided to invest and become a full-fledged entrepreneur. And today we have 3 stores, 2 in Mumbai, 1 in Bangalore. And we're about to launch our 4th, which I will tell you more about in due course. But we are expanding. We are very excitedly expanding. And I'm just so excited that wine retail in India is going from very commodity, transactional based, across the counter, boring experience to a more experience-led, sophisticated, modern, sophisticated retail store formats where people are able to walk into a store, look at hundreds of labels being displayed, browse through the labels, talk to our informed staff, learn about wines, partake in events, and basically sort of create this wine community of people who enjoy their wines. So yeah, I mean, the retail business is enabling me to do this, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And then there are 1 or 2 other initiatives that are in pipeline, but I'm notoriously known for not talking about them before I launch them.
Okay. Yeah, actually, guys, if you want to, know more about wines and, just come out of the concept that wines can be boring, you should follow Sonal on Instagram. Her Insta feed is so beautifully laid out, and she talks about her ventures in those. You spoke about the retail business very recently on Instagram. I did go through that. And she talks about the different kinds of wine, the wine classes. She teaches about wine as well. So do go and follow her on Instagram to learn more about wines. And I bet you won't be disappointed. Okay. So Sonal, we have heard a lot about, how to hold a glass of wine and how to drink a glass of wine. It's a proper procedure. You swirl, you smell, the way you pour. I mean, why does wine have this fancy way of, drinking wine?
So when you look at a wine glass, and I've got one right here in front of me,
Okay.
the stem is like a handle, Okay. You're supposed to think of it as a handle. And therefore, it has been provided for you to hold the glass with. So yes, it's a very fancy way of looking at it and thinking of it as a the stem being the handle. But the truth is that's exactly what is there. It provides the function of, so that you can hold the glass like that. Of course, this is a steady base, so it keeps the glass perfect. And the bowl is what holds the wine. And these bowls come in various shapes.
Yeah.
And some are narrower, some are wider. In case of sparkling wine, the idea is to keep the bubbles intact, and so that they continue like a bead, rising to the top. So we often find that sparkling wine glasses are the narrowest. Then come the white wines, because in white wines, what you are trying to do is what are you trying to show in white wine? You are trying to showcase the freshness, the aromatics, the fruitiness of a white wine. And because a vast majority of white wines don't go through any oak aging, they're all about appreciating the fruit. And so therefore they tend to again be slightly narrower as compared to red wine glasses. With red wine, you will see more often than not, the bowl is slightly larger. And that is because a vast majority of red wines around the world go through oak aging. And so there is these extra aromatics and extra complexity, which needs a bit of room to open up and unravel. So by giving a larger or pouring it in a larger bowl, you're just allowing it more room to aerate and to open up and to be able to showcase itself well. Now, this is the general thumb rule, but exceptions to this could also be if a white wine has gone through oak aging and is very fancy, and there's a lot of complexity in the white wine also to show, like in a typical Burgundy white, made from Chardonnay grape variety, then those glasses again need a larger bowl. So even though it's a white wine, it is expected to be consumed out of a larger bowl. Whereas a red wine, if it's a more simpler, light-bodied, fruity, unoaked red wine, again, you can enjoy, absolutely must in fact enjoy it from a narrower bowl, because again, there you're not trying to spread the wine over a larger surface area. You're just trying to enjoy its freshness and fruitiness out of a simpler or a narrower bowl. So it's the style of the wine that defines the shape of the glass. At the end of the day, a wine glass is designed to look elegant in your hand. The bowl, holding it by the stem makes it look very elegant. And you just give it a little bit of a swirl with the intent of opening up the wine and take a sip. I always say, sip your wine, don't guzzle your wine. Because the smaller your sips, the more you'll allow the wine an opportunity to give you the flavors on your palate, which you can discover because the wine changes. If it's a high quality wine, it will transform in the glass and it will also transform on your palate, sip after sip. So take small sips and not just chug it down like beer or even whiskey as we do sometimes.
So a lot about wine, and I think this question itself taught us so much about the strategy behind holding wines, drinking wines, and I mean a lot about wine glasses as well. Okay, so previously when we were talking, you spoke about how wines are being accepted socially and mentally as well by people. So, a lighter note, I would really like to ask this question. What wine, Sonal, do you suggest for corporate giftings, casual giftings, and like formal functions like when you go for a wedding and you have to give someone a wine or something like that?
I won't mention brands, but I will give some sort of indications of how one should go about choosing wines. So see, when it comes to corporate gifting, I think the idea is to gift wines that look expensive but are not. Because you're trying to play to a corporate image. They need to look fancy, they need to look exciting, but at the same time all corporates work on a budget, and that we have to suggest wines that have good looking labels, that look expensive, that look premium, of course are delicious, no question. So being delicious is common across all categories. No matter what wine, what it is, it must always be delicious, because wine's first obligation is to be delicious. If it's not, why the hell are we even drinking it?
Yeah.
So that is a done thing, right? That's a given. Yeah. Casual gifting.
Right.
I would say, so casual gifting is, I think of it as a wine for a friend, for example, or you're going to someone's home for a party and you're taking a bottle of wine with you. I like to take a thoughtful gift, when I do that, because I feel even if it's casual, there's a personal connect. Yeah. And so if I'm giving it to somebody I know personally, then, and that person's going to remember when he's drinking the wine that, oh, Sonal gave me this bottle of wine, right? Because it's not like it's an anonymous bottle where he doesn't remember who gave it to him. Then I like some thought process put behind it. I like to have a story to the wine. So for example, I would say, oh, I picked up this bottle for you because I had read about it somewhere, or I was traveling last month and I picked up a few bottles for myself and I thought I'll give you one from my own stash, or, oh, I've been saving up this bottle for you and me to enjoy, so I picked this one for you. But there's some thought process behind it, because I feel that when you're gifting to a friend or a colleague or, doing this one-on-one gifting, I think there's an enormous opportunity for the giver to create a connection and to create a relationship through wine, and to make the person you're gifting it to feel special and feel that you care. It can be a very thoughtful gesture. So I feel that one should not miss that opportunity. Formal functions where, let's say, you're sitting around a sit-down table, and maybe it's business, or it's a celebration of a sort, it's an anniversary or a birthday or whatever, and you're trying to make it memorable. Maybe this is the time to bring out some classics. So there are some classics in the world of wines, wines like Champagne and Chablis and Amarone della Valpolicella and Barolos, and all of these wines which have a certain standing, a certain reputation, and maybe it's time to bring out those. It doesn't matter even about the classics. I would also say that this is a time to bring out some of your best wines. At the end of the day, guys, wine is for sharing, wine's for enjoying. I don't believe in the concept of bringing bottles and just hoarding them, waiting for the perfect moment when you're going to uncork them. We often pick up these nice bottles of wine and we say, I'm going to save this for a special occasion. I'm going to save this. But what we miss is the special occasion is created on the evening when you uncork this bottle. So
Right.
why hoard it away? And why just, so many times we do that and we forget we even have this bottle. And then by the time we realize we have it, 3 years have passed and maybe wine is not even in good shape, or you've not stored it well or whatever. So I say uncork early because there's lesser risk of spoilage, and lesser risk of forgetting all about it. So open early, uncork, share, make memories, and spread the love and spread the joy. That's what wine is all about,
Definitely. That was really helpful. Thank you, Sonal.
Thank you.
Moving on to our last question, but definitely not the least important one. What is the scope of studying wines in a country like India for the upcoming generation? Not a lot of
So
people
back in the day
pursue
when I started, thank you. I mean, that's a very relevant question because, this is an industry that's growing and there are lots and lots of people who are, I think in today's situation at least, looking for meaningful ways to move forward in their career. Some of us are even looking to reinvent ourselves, perhaps like I did a few years ago. So I want to just highlight, back in the day when I started studying about wines, I had no choice but to go overseas and study because there was no institution in India offering world-class wine education here. But fortunately, today we have more avenues. And I feel very proud to say that Sonal Holland Wine Academy, which we founded in 2009, today provides world-class wine education, wine and beverage education to both professionals, hospitality students, and wine enthusiasts all over India and even globally now through our online courses. We have certified over hundreds and thousands of people who enjoy taking their courses with us. And we have a partnership with WSET. So WSET stands for Wine and Spirits Education Trust. Wine and Spirits Education Trust is one of the leading institutions in the world for wine and beverage education, extremely well known. They're across 70 countries. And we have a tie-up with them. So we have a strategic partnership which allows us to offer their courses here in India. So we have a team of WSET certified educators who do these courses. And, people often think, oh, is it only for hospitality professionals? If I just love wine, can I join? You'll be surprised. Almost 30 to 40% of the people who take our courses are actually just wine lovers. They're just people who enjoy drinking wine and are just curious about wine, want to learn more about it so they can have more meaningful conversations at social gatherings. So we have lots and lots of those. Wine is growing in popularity. Everybody wants to know a little bit more about wine. And there is no doubt that it makes you sound very impressive if you know about wine in a social setup. So, so I would say, come to Sonal Holland Wine Academy. I would say, I would shamelessly plug myself here because we pride ourselves on being the knowledge disseminators of the country. The website, by the way, is www.sonalholland.com. And our educational courses are on sonalhollandwineacademy.com. But Daksha, this has been such an enthralling chat. Thank you for asking such relevant and meaningful questions. And it's been a real pleasure being on the Penning Down Success platform. It's a wonderful new platform that is showcasing inspiring stories, but what you're doing has inspired me too. So thank you for returning back the inspiration, and yeah, good luck to Penning Down Success, and all the best to you, Daksha, in everything that you do. I hope to be in touch.
Thank you, Sonal. Really hoping to be in touch with you as well.